presenting Benny Goodman and his orchestra.
Hey there, holiday greetings and welcome to When Radio Ruled Christmas Special 2020. I'm Mike Gillette, your host, mixing up the holiday cheer. This year has been a strange year for all of us. As Christmas gets closer, I find myself longing for the traditional to make the holidays at least seem normal. It also feels like this Christmas more than ever the values of the season are necessary and valuable. Peace on earth, goodwill toward men. As you do to the least of my brothers, so you do to me.
Let's dance, and that's no idle invitation, ladies and gentlemen, because it comes from Benny Goodman and his orchestra, who take their responsibilities very seriously in purveying good music to the dancing public. And now, an original arrangement by Benny Goodman of Jingle Bells.
So many people have suffered this year, through no fault of their own, losing jobs and health care and homes, and in some cases their very lives in 2020. I'm not sure what the solution is, but I'm pretty sure the first step is caring. Please keep the less fortunate in your thoughts this year. Merry Christmas. This year, we've got two old-time radio Christmas shows originally broadcast in 1939. 1939 was also a year when a shadow of uncertainty and fear hung over the world. Fear of war. Europe was already in flames. We weren't involved yet, but we would be fighting for our lives this time, 1940. So Christmas in 1939 was also a time to cling to tradition and reflect on what is important in life during this special time. Old-time radio made Christmas even more special. Families huddled around the warm tubes of their radio, shared sentimental shows about the magic of the season, and families laughed together at shows that mocked the greed and commercialism we all encounter at Christmas. The first show is that kind of comedy. The Jack Benny Jello Show broadcast live on Christmas Eve, 1939, an episode entitled Christmas Party at Jack's.
J-E-L-L-O. The Jell-O program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. The orchestra opens the program with a happy, happy holiday. 'Twas the night before Christmas. I sat by the fire. I filled up my pipe, turned the radio higher. The hour was 12 by the clock on the stair. A few moments more, and St. Nick would be there. When out on the airwaves there rose such a clatter, I grabbed for the dial to see what was the matter. And what to my wondering ears should I hear but the sound of sleigh bells and a voice ringing clear. Now strawberry, now raspberry, now lemon and lime. On cherry, on orange, we haven't much time. A noise on the roof, and then, quick as a flash, out of the radio burst with a crash a gay-looking, cheerful, and merry-faced fellow, shaking with laughs like a bowl full of Jell-O. He spoke not a word, but working like Ned, filled all the stockings. Then, turning his head, he gave me a wink as he shook his white beard. Then, back in the radio, he disappeared. He sprang to his sleigh, and he gave a loud cry, and away they all flew like snow in the sky. But I heard him call back as he raced down the glen, "Merry Christmas, dear people! Merry Christmas again!" That was a happy, happy holiday played by the orchestra. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as is always his custom on Christmas Eve, Jack Benny is holding open house tonight for all the members of his cast. So without further ado, we whisk you to Jack's home in Beverly Hills. Take it away.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Work all night, work all day, never get no pay. Jingle bells, jingle bells.
Rochester. You got any complaints to make, don't sing them.
I tried everything else.
Never mind. Now, as soon as you get those packages wrapped, put them over here under the tree. The gang will be here pretty soon.
Okay, boss.
Now, wait a minute, Rochester. Why is this side of the tree so bare? What happened to all the ornaments?
Your ostrich had lunch.
Oh, she ate them, eh? I thought I told you to lock Trudy up in the garage with Carmichael.
I did, and boss, your Maxwell is now completely covered with fur and feathers.
Good, we'll enter it in the Rose Bowl parade. Where's Trudy now?
She's out in the kitchen laughing at the turkey.
She is, eh? Well, I hope she doesn't annoy Swing High.
She better not. Them Chinese can cook anything.
Well, as soon as you're through here, get Trudy out of the kitchen. Now, hurry up with those presents.
Okay. Say, boss.
What?
Who's this leather belt for?
Oh, that belt is for Don Wilson.
My, long ain't it?
Well, Mr. Wilson isn't exactly shaped like an hourglass. And wrap it up nice for him. And look, Rochester, I wish you'd... What's that?
Here comes Trudy now.
Trudy! Trudy, come back here! Well, there goes my new Ming vase. Rochester, go out and catch that ostrich.
Boss, if I could run that fast, I'd be playing with UCLA.
Well, I'm not going to have Trudy running through the house. As soon as you get those packages finished...
Hello, Jack. Merry Christmas.
Oh, hello, Mary.
Oh, Merry Christmas, Miss Livingston.
Same to you, Rochester.
Mary, put your packages under the tree.
Okay. Say, Jack, who are you giving this oil painting to?
Beautiful, isn't it? I got that for Phil Harris.
An oil painting for Phil Harris? Are you crazy?
No, I'm not crazy. He's got a lovely apartment.
Sure, but he hasn't got a picture on the wall he didn't tear out of Esquire.
That's why I got Phil this painting. I'm trying to educate him. Look, Mary, it's a genuine Botticelli.
He won't like it unless there's a joke under it.
He'll appreciate it, all right. Say, Mary, when you came in, did you notice the way Rochester decorated the front of the house with holly and lights and everything? Isn't it something?
Yeah. But gee whiz, Jack, you ought to take down that sign.
What sign?
The one that says, Merry Christmas, ostrich plumes, 15 cents.
Well, for heaven's sake, Rochester, did you put that sign up, ostrich plumes, 15 cents?
You told me to.
I did not. I merely said that's the price if anybody asks. I didn't tell you to advertise.
Shall I take the sign down, boss?
No, the damage is done now. Leave it up. But I want to see the books at the end of the week. Remember that.
Why, Jack, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. The idea of selling ostrich plumes.
Well, I have to do something to get even. Trudy eats everything in sight. She got in my bedroom the other day and ate my cufflinks, a box of cigars, and 2 hairbrushes.
The brushes you don't have to worry about.
I do, too. Those brushes were a present from Greta Garbo when I was working at MGM.
Oh, I remember. They were sent to your dressing room by mistake.
I don't care how I got them. I got them. It's the thought that counts. Anyway, that ostrich better stop eating things in my bedroom. It's costing me a fortune. What's so funny?
If she ever eats that green stuff out of your mattress, you'll be bankrupt.
Rochester, to hear you talk, you think I kept my entire life savings in my mattress.
Uh-huh.
Well, I don't.
Then why do you stand there with a gun when I make the bed?
That's the only way I can get you to work, and you know it. Anyway, Mary, all Trudy needs is a little training. Well, there's somebody already. Come in.
Hello, everybody. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Same to you, Dennis.
Merry Christmas, Mrs. Day.
Put your packages under the tree, Dennis. We'll open them later.
Oh, Mother, isn't that a beautiful Christmas tree? Yes, Dennis, it's lovely.
Thanks.
Gee, look at those popcorn balls hanging there. Can I have one, Mr. Benny?
Of course, Dennis. Help yourself.
Just put a dime under the tree.
That won't be necessary. This is Christmas. Well, Mrs. Day, I'm so glad you were able to come tonight. We've missed you on the program the last few weeks. Where have you been?
Oh, I've been very busy shopping and preparing for the holidays. You know how it is.
Yes, yes.
Jack told me you were wrestling in San Diego.
I said nothing of the kind. Don't try to start an argument between Mrs. Day and myself. We're very good friends now, aren't we, Lucretia?
Well, I'm standing under the mistletoe, if that's what you mean.
Not now, Lou. Later, when we play games.
Say, boss.
What is it, Rochester?
The man just came with the ice cream. It's $4.75.
Oh.
Have you got the cash with you, or shall I go upstairs and make the bid?
Never mind. Here's $5. Let him keep the change.
The whole quarter?
Yes.
Boss, while you're in this mood, I'd like to have a little talk with you.
Never mind. Give the man the money. Now, Mrs. Day, you'll have to excuse me. I still got to wrap up a few more packages. Do you mind?
Not at all. I'll be glad to help you.
Well, thank you. And, Dennis, while we're working, how about singing something for us to brighten things up? You know any Christmas carols?
Oh, sure. Lots of them.
Good. Let's hear one. Just a second. There's someone at the door. Come in. Well, hello, Don. Merry Christmas.
Same to you, Jack. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. Well, Merry Christmas to you all.
Oh, Don, are all those packages for us?
Yes, sir. All 6 of them.
Well, put them under the tree. We'll open them later. Look, Mary, you can see the big red letters right through the paper. Here, Rochester, hang up Mr. Wilson's hat.
Yes, sir. Happy Yuletide, Mr. Wilson.
Well, the same to you, Rochester. And here's a little gift for you.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Wilson. Thank you. Looks like a bottle.
Yes, Rochester, it is. It's hair tonic.
Oh. Well, a little white rock will fix that up.
Put it under the tree. You can have it later. Now, go ahead, Dennis. Let's hear your song.
Okay, Mr. Benny.
Mrs. Day, will you tie a nice bow on this package here? It's for the... Oh, darn it.
Gangway, everybody. Here comes the 550.
Trudy! Trudy, come back here. There goes a goldfish bowl. Come on, Rochester. Let's get her.
My, what a household. Sing your song, Dennis.
Oh, little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie. Above thy deep and dreamless sea, the silent stars go by. Yet in thy dark street shineth the everlasting light. The hopes and fears of all the years are met in thee tonight. The first Noel, the angels did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay, in fields where they lay keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. Away in the manger, no crib for his bed, the little Lord Jesus lay down his sweet head. The stars in the heavens looked down where he lay. The little Lord Jesus asleep in the hay. The cattle are lowing, the poor babe awakes, but little Lord Jesus no crying he makes. I love thee, Lord Jesus, look down from the sky and stay by my cradle to watch lullaby.
Dennis, those carols were lovely. You sang beautifully.
Thank you, Mrs. Day.
I'm your mother.
Oh.
Well, that's that.
Did you catch Trudy?
Yes, and Rochester's putting her in the basement. She won't bother us again. Say, I wish Phil and Andy'd get here. I'm getting hungry.
Me too. What are we going to have, Jack?
We're going to have turkey hash, Don. Delicious turkey hash.
Uh-oh.
What are you owing about?
They didn't move Thanksgiving back far enough.
Mary, this is not the same turkey.
Well, I think we're very lucky. I'd rather have turkey hash than roast ostrich any day.
Don, you're just being silly. In the first place, I haven't got a roaster big enough for an ostrich, and in the second place, they aren't good to eat. The meat is much too sinewy and fibrous to chew.
Oh, you looked it up, eh?
I didn't look it up. I just happen to know that.
Oh, Mr. Benny, did you invite any movie stars here tonight?
No, Mrs. Day, we're just having our own little gang. And listen, everybody, I got a big surprise for you. I wasn't going to tell you until they got here, but my sister Florence and her husband are driving in from Waukegan, and they're due here today.
Well, this is a surprise.
And her husband, too, eh?
Yes, you remember him, Mary. You met him in Waukegan.
Oh, yeah. Is he the pool shark?
No, that's my cousin Boo Boo. Boo Boo Benny. The fellow that's coming here is my brother-in-law, Leonard Fenchel. He's an interior decorator.
An interior decorator, huh?
Yeah.
He's a paper hanger, and you know it.
Mary, he sells wallpaper on the side. He's got 1 million patterns.
Are they going to stay here at the house with you, Jack?
Oh, sure. You don't think they'd stay anywhere else, as my sister said in her letter. Anyway, they ought to be here any minute.
Doggone that bird, I'll teach her to nip me.
Rochester, I just want you to put her in the basement. What did you do to Trudy?
I ain't saying, but she's going to eat her dinner tonight, loop de loop.
Rochester, did you tie a knot in her neck again? Did you?
Well,
Rochester, did you tie a knot in Trudy's neck?
just plain, no bow.
Well, don't you ever do that again. Now go downstairs and untie her before she chokes. Now hurry.
Okay, boss. I wish I knew his detour.
Rochester, I don't know what's the matter with that guy. Every time I get a pet, he has to... Come in, come in. Hiya, Jackson. Merry Christmas, everybody. Hello, Phil. Well, Phil, I'm glad you brought all your boys with you. Come on in, men. Hey, put all your presents under the tree, fellas.
Oh, Jack, the Orchestra boys are here, and you forgot to buy presents for them.
I did not. I got them a lovely gift. It's a very practical and something they can all use.
I'll bet it's a roller towel.
Well, it won't hurt them any. Now, hang your hats out in the hall, man, and say, Phil, how do you like the Christmas tree? Nice decorations, eh?
Oh, boy, look at those popcorn balls.
I knew you'd say it that way. Now, Phil, we're not going to open our presents until after dinner, but the one I got for you is so beautiful, I want everybody to see it. Go and get it, Mary.
Okay.
Wait till you see it, Phil. You'll love it. It's for your apartment.
Last year, you gave me some cocktail glasses, and you didn't even wash the cheese out.
Well, I was rushed.
Here you are, Phil.
Yep, there you are, Phil. A beautiful oil painting. And it's for you. Keep it. You're welcome. Now, wait a minute. Phil, you don't realize that this is a masterpiece, a work of art.
Maybe you should have taken the calendar off.
There's no calendar on it. Look, Phil, this painting is The Birth of Venus by Botticelli.
I don't care if it's Whistler's wife. I don't want it.
That's Whistler's mother. And there's a guy that don't appreciate the real thing.
But, Jack, if this painting were an original Botticelli, it would cost you at least $100,000.
What do I care? It's Christmas. It only comes once a year. What if I do spend a little money?
Say, Jack.
What?
If you stay up there 8 hours, you get a pilot's license.
Well, all right. If that's the way you all feel about it, I'll keep it myself. Go out of my way to get an unusual present. Come in.
Say, does Jack Benny live here?
Hello, Jack.
Florence Leonard. Well, I thought you'd never get here. Florence, darling, how are you? Gee whiz.
Oh, you're looking grand, Jack.
You do, too, and so does Leonard.
Yeah, I'm fine. You're putting on a little weight, ain't you, Droopy?
Oh, a little here and there.
Well, you're eating more regular now.
Oh, fellas, this is my sister Florence and her husband Leonard.
How do you do? Oh, you look beautiful.
Well, Florence, how's Dad and Cousin Boo Boo and everybody? Eh?
Oh, they're fine. Everybody's swell.
That's good. Hey, Leonard, how do you like my new house? Pretty classy, eh?
The wallpaper stinks.
Oh, it does, eh?
Say, Florence, this is your first trip out to Hollywood, isn't it?
Yes, and I'm so happy for Leonard. He's just dying to meet all the movie stars.
So is Jack. They ought to get together.
Listen, Mary, I know plenty of big stars, and I'll introduce them to Leonard and Florence.
Do you know Ann Sheridan? Woo!
Oh, brother.
Leonard, will you behave yourself?
Oh, let him alone, Florence. He's having a good time.
That's right, Droopy.
Stop calling me Droopy. That was years ago. Well, folks, as soon as Andy gets here, we'll eat. You want to wash up a bit first, Leonard?
Yeah, where's the sink?
Oh, fine.
Leonard, you can clean up in my room, and I'll take you there in a minute. Gee, Florence, it's nice seeing you again. I'm glad you were able to come out.
Oh, I am too, Jack. Gee, it's been ages.
Now, tomorrow, I'm going to take you over to Paramount Studio, and you can watch me do a scene in my new picture.
Is Ann Sheridan in it? Woo!
No, Leonard. Woo-woo! You're as bad as Cousin Boo Boo. Gee, I wish Andy'd get here. I'm hungry.
Me too. Why don't we eat now, Jack?
All right, let's do that. When Andy comes, he can join us. Come on, fellas. Let's all go in the dining room. Hey, Leonard. Leonard, what are you doing back there?
Look at this wallpaper. It don't hang right.
Leave it alone. It's all right.
No, it's too loose. Look.
Leonard, please. You're here on a vacation. I'll have to have that wall redone. Well, come on, fellas. Let's see. See who that is, Rochester.
That must be Mr. Devine. Come in.
Come in. Trudy! Trudy, stay out of the dining room!
Don't call that African canary.
Trudy! Well, there goes my china closet. Rochester, lock her up in the garage with Carmichael.
Okay, boss.
Come on, folks, let's see. Here, Florence, have some more of this hash. It's delicious.
Oh, no, thanks. I don't believe I can finish this.
Put some catsup on it. That'd help mine.
Now, this is darn good food, Mary.
Leonard, I wish you'd please use your fork.
I've been using a knife for years and never cut myself yet. Hey, Mrs. Day?
Stop nudging me.
Hey, Phil, you're not eating. What's the matter? Aren't you hungry?
Yeah, but I can wait.
Oh. Well, I hope none of you eat too much. I want you to save room for the dessert, you know.
What are we having for dessert, Mr. Benny?
Tell him, Don.
Well, Dennis, what do you think we're having for dessert?
Jell-O.
I'll tell you what we're having, Dennis.
Don, he just guessed it.
For dessert tonight, Dennis, we're
Don.
having a shimmering dish of tempting, delicious strawberry Jell-O.
Don, it's
and
no
Jack
use.
got it
He
at his
guessed-
neighborhood grocer by simply asking for genuine
Look,
Jell-O
he
and
just
looking for the
told-
big red letters on the box.
Don, he knows.
So there you are, Dennis. What are we having for dessert?
I still think it's Jell-O.
You're right, Dennis, but you know how Don is. Well, folks, soon as you're through with dinner, we're all going to play games and have some fun.
So this is a Hollywood party, huh? Give me Waukegan anytime.
Leonard, will you please keep still?
This town is overrated.
Overrated? You've only been here 5 minutes.
And bragging about a swimming pool. I bet you haven't even got one.
Look out the window. What do you think that is in the backyard?
You call that a swimming pool? You ought to see Lake Michigan.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Oh, don't let Leonard upset you, Jack.
Florence, I told you about this guy 10 years ago, but you had to marry him. Oh, Rochester.
Yes, boss?
This is my sister and brother-in-law. They're going to stay with us a while. They'll be using the guest room.
The guest room?
Yes.
Where's our boy going to sleep?
Mr. Billingsley will have to sleep in the den. He's behind anyway. Now get the room ready.
Okay. Bears, ostriches, relatives. Doggone, if I didn't have this address on my stationery, I'd move.
And it's fancy stationery with a crest on it yet. Well, finish your dinner, everybody, and we'll play those games. Well, there's Andy at last. Come on in, Andy.
Hiya, Buck. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, Andy. Glad to see you. Merry Christmas. Gee, I hope you don't mind, Andy. We started to eat without you.
Oh, that's all right, Buck. I asked.
Say, Andy, I want you to meet my sister and brother-in-law, Mr. and Mrs. Fenshaw.
Well, howdy, folks.
How do you do, Mr. Devine?
Hello, Andy. How are you fixed for wallpaper?
Leonard! This is no time for business. Well, Andy, what do you got in that package?
A Christmas present my mom knitted for you.
Your ma. Well, that's sweet. What is it?
Well, it's a combination sock, sweater, and ear lamp.
Sock, sweater, and ear laps. Well, how do you get into them?
I don't know, Buck. When Ma knits, she's nuts.
Oh, I guess you're right.
She knitted Pa a snood for his beard.
Well, that'll keep it up out of the soup. Anyway. Now sit down, Andy. Have a cup of coffee anyway.
Yeah, come on, Andy. Come on.
Okay, thanks. Say, Buck, before I forget it, did you hear Fred Allen Wednesday night?
No, I didn't, Andy. What did he say?
Sure ribbed you about that picture you two are going to make together.
What picture? I'm making one right now.
I heard him too, Jack. He's talking about your next picture. Didn't you know about it?
Oh, that's a lot of baloney.
No, it isn't, Jack. All the papers carried the story. It said that you and Fred Allen are going to do a picture together, and Mark Sandrich is directing it.
Mark Sandrich? Why, he's directing the one I'm making now.
Yes, and he's going to direct your next one with Fred Allen.
Oh, no, he isn't. I wouldn't make a tintype with that guy. Imagine me making a picture with Allen.
I would.
You keep out of it. I'm not worried either.
I don't know, Jackson. Allen's a pretty funny guy.
Oh, you're a great judge of comedy, Harris. How do you make a Venetian blind poke him in the eye? I heard you tell that one the other night. Anyway, I'm not doing any picture with Fred Allen.
What are you going to do about it, Jack?
I'll show you what I'm going to do. Mary, get me Mr. Sandrich on the phone. Crestview 15335.
Okay.
I'll tell him a thing or two.
You better take it easy, Jackson. Paramount's liable to throw you right out.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, he'll be back hanging paper with me again.
I only did that one summer when vaudeville was bad. I'm not worried.
Hello? Mr. Sandrich? Droopy wants to talk to you.
Don't be smart. Give me that phone. I'll show him who's making a picture with Allen. Hello, Mr. Sandwich. This is Jack Benny. Merry Christmas. Now, look. What's the story going around about my making a picture with Fred Allen? Well, I'm doing nothing of the kind. Now, look, Mr. Sandrich.
Good evening, Mr. Benny.
Oh, Mr. Billingsley, you'll sleep in the den until further notice.
Very well. Good night.
Good night. Now, look, Mr. Sandrich. Now, look, I'm not through with the picture I'm making now. And if you put Allen in my next one, I'm walking out. I said I'm liable to walk out. You know.
Some movie star.
Leonard. Now, for the last time, Mr. Sandrich, I'm not making a picture with that anemic baboon. Mr. Sandrich. Now, look, Mr. Sandrich. Now, look. 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 Look.
Lights, tick, click, Saturday Evening Post.
Mary, please. Now, look, Mr. Sandrich.
Ask him if he needs any wallpaper.
Do you need any wallpaper? Oh, shut up, Leonard. Not you. That's my brother-in-law. Now, Mr. Sandrich, my objection to making a picture with Allen is this. In the first place... Now, look, Mr.
Yes,
Sandrich.
I'm shooting, boss.
Trudy, well, get her out of here. Now, in the first place, Mr. Sandrich...
And Carmichael's after.
Carmichael, separate him, Rochester. Now, in the first place, Mr. Trudy, Mr. Sandrich. In the first place, Carmichael, leave Trudy alone. Trudy, come back here. Rochester, do something. Trudy, Carmichael. Look, Mr. Sandrich. My objection to making a picture with Fred Allen. Now, Mr. Sandrich.
I'd like to offer you folks tonight what I think is an ideal Christmas menu. The first course is hospitality. And remember, it must be warm. The entree is a heaping platter of kindness, garnished with such tender herbs as charity and tolerance. And let the dessert be faith, a simple but sustaining dish with a rich sauce of happiness and contentment. Now, there's a grand menu with 3 big advantages. It costs nothing, it pleases everybody, and you can serve it every day in the year. May it always be yours to enjoy, especially during this happy holiday season. The makers of Jell-O extend to you their very best wishes and heartiest greetings for a joyous Yuletide, filled to the brim with fun, feasting, peace, good health, and good cheer. Ladies and gentlemen, Merry Christmas.
The last number of the 12th program in the current Jell-O series, and we will be with you again next Sunday night at the same time. So Merry Christmas to you all from the whole gang. Good night, everybody.
Here's news. Every Tuesday night, the Aldrich Family is on the air, starring Ezra Stone as Henry Aldrich, that lovable hard-luck kid. Consult your local newspaper or radio guide for time and stations, and be sure to tune in on the Aldrich Family next Tuesday night. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
You just heard the Jack Benny Jell-O Show broadcast live on Christmas Eve, 1939, an episode entitled Christmas Party at Jack's. Our next show is the most traditional of the traditional. Both the most traditional Christmas story ever told and one of the great old-time radio traditions. The story is, of course, A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. And the radio tradition is Lionel Barrymore playing Ebenezer Scrooge. Lionel Barrymore played Scrooge live on the radio for different networks and shows over 15 of 17 years, 1935 to 1951. Only emergencies caused Lionel to miss 2 years. 1 year because of the death of his wife. In that case, his brother, the legendary John Barrymore, stepped in and played Scrooge. The other time, equally legendary Orson Welles played the role when Lionel Barrymore's own health failed. This show is my personal Christmas Eve fireside tradition, and I am very happy to share it with you. Merry Christmas from myself and all these voices from the past. The 1939 Campbell Playhouse production of A Christmas Carol starring Lionel Barrymore.
Oh, what do we want for Christmas? Do you really want us to say? We hope old Santa has a very merry, merry Christmas day. Let's hang up all our stockings.
The makers of Campbell Soup present the Campbell Playhouse. Orson Welles, producer.
Good evening, Mrs. Orson Welles. There are clearly a number of ways in which A Christmas Carol could be introduced. Myself, I am most struck by the happy fortune that enables us on this Christmas Eve to present Mr. Lionel Barrymore, the best-loved actor of our time, in the world's best-loved Christmas story, A Christmas Carol. When Charles Dickens presented this little story to the world almost 100 years ago, it found an instant response in the hearts of people everywhere who saw in it their favorite fictional chronicle of what Christmas is and what Christmas means to all the simple people of the earth. From the day of its first printing, Families have been innumerable in which there has remained unbroken the tradition that the reading of a Christmas carol was an item indispensable to a proper observance of the most important of days. It is the American way, as we know, to establish traditions quickly where popular instinct and sentiment pronounce them sound. And so it is that today, actually only the 5th anniversary of Mr. Lionel Barrymore's first playing of the part of Ebenezer Scrooge for the Campbell Playhouse, there is, I think, in all America nothing more eagerly awaited, more firmly rooted in the hearts of the radio family that numbers millions than this yearly performance of A Christmas Carol. A Christmas Carol, as Charles Dickens wrote it, has by common consent long been a classic. Mr. Lionel Barrymore's appearance in it is rapidly becoming one. And now, just before A Christmas Carol, Ernest Chappell has a special Christmas greeting from the makers of Campbell Soups. Mr. Chappell?
Thank you, Orson Welles. As the old year draws toward its close, we of Campbell's feel a bond of warmth and gratitude toward each of you, our friends. For you see, in homes everywhere throughout the land, Campbell's Soups have been welcome. Day by day and week by week, you have placed confidence in us and in the foods we make. And there isn't anything we appreciate more deeply than the fact that so many of you have elected to let Campbell's make your soups for you. And so when Christmas comes, we look about to find some way to show our appreciation, some Christmas present by which to say thank you. The gift we chose 5 Christmases ago and have chosen each year since has become a part of Christmas to many and many a family. It has become a Christmas custom, as Mr. Wells said, to gather around the radio to hear and to enjoy A Christmas Carol. And since it is Christmas Eve, we hope, too, that the younger members of the family are permitted to stay up and listen before dreams and visit of Santa. We get a great deal of pleasure planning and preparing this Christmas gift, and now it's ready. Off come the wrappings, off come the tags that say, please do not open till Christmas. Out comes the card. To you, from Campbell's. And here is the gift itself.
Marley was dead to begin with. There's no doubt whatever about that. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and the chief mourner. Scrooge signed it. And Scrooge's name was good upon change for anything he chose to put his hand to. Old Marley was as dead as a doornail. Scrooge knew he was dead? Of course he did. Scrooge and Marley were partners for I don't know how many years. But he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, was Scrooge. A squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner. And once upon a time, of all the good days in the year, on Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat busy in his counting house, a grim, cheerless place if ever there was one. The door of Scrooge's counting house was open that he might keep his eye upon his clerk, Bob Cratchit, who in a cold and dismal little cell beyond worked at his ledgers.
20, 21, 22. Merry gentlemen, let nothing you disturb. 23, 26, 29. 9 carry 2. Christmas Day. 11, 13, 17, 7.
Bob Cratchit.
Yes, Mr. Scrooge?
Stop that infernal caterwauling.
Yes, sir. 9, 15, 17, 29. Carry 1.
Singing their idiotic Christmas carols at my very door. Go on! Get away from my door! Go somewhere else and bellow your blasted carols or I'll give you in charge.
Sorry, Governor. It's an old custom at Christmas time, you know.
Yes, and I don't want any of your old customs. Take your fellow fools and go away. Christmas. Blah.
Right, sir. Merry Christmas anyway, sir.
Ah. Now you get that letter from Higgins and Blackthorn, Cratchit, and then I want you to finish posting this ledger. And after that, you can pop over to Fothergill's and tell Ephraim Fothergill you've come after the 17 shillings and 6pence he's owed me since Michaelmas. And tell him I shall have a constable over there if he doesn't pay up at once.
Mr. Fothergill's wife has been ill, sir.
Oh, what do I care about his wife? I want my 17 and 6.
I just thought it being Christmas, sir.
Christmas. You mention that word to me once more, Bob Cratchit, and I'll...
Merry Christmas, Uncle. Merry Christmas, Bob.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Fred.
God save you, Uncle.
Humbug.
Christmas a humbug, Uncle. Now, I'm sure you don't mean that.
I mean just that. Exactly that. Merry Christmas. What right have you to be merry? What reason have you? You're poor enough.
Well, what right have you to be dismal about Christmas, Uncle? You're rich enough.
Yeah.
Now, Uncle, don't be cross.
Well, what else can I be when I live in such a world of fools? What's Christmas to you but a time for paying bills without money? Merry Christmas. A time for finding yourself a year older and not an hour richer. If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips would be boiled with his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart. He should.
Uncle?
Now, nephew, keep Christmas in your own way and let me keep it in mine.
Keep it, but you don't keep it, Uncle.
Well, let me leave it alone, then. What do you want? A Christmas gift, I've no doubt.
I came to wish you a Merry Christmas, Uncle.
A Merry Christmas. Much good may Christmas do you. Much good it ever has done you.
There are many things from which I derive good, by which I have not profited materially, I dare say, Uncle. Christmas among the rest. But I have always thought of Christmas time as a good time. A kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time. And therefore, Uncle, though it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe it has done me good and will do me good. And I say, God bless it.
God bless Christmas. Hurrah!
Let me hear another sound out of you there, Bob Cratchit, and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your situation.
Yes.
As to you, nephew, I wonder you don't go into Parliament. You talk enough nonsense.
Oh, don't be angry, Uncle. I want nothing from you. I ask nothing of you. Why can't we be friends?
Good afternoon.
I'm sorry you feel that way. Well, I've tried. A Merry Christmas to you, Uncle.
Good afternoon.
And a Happy New Year, too.
Humbug.
And a Merry Christmas to you, Bob, and the missus, and the tiny Jill.
Thank you, Mr. Fred. Same to you, sir. Good day, sir.
Good day, Bob.
Nonsense. Twaddle. Flummery. They're talking of Christmas and not 2 sixpences to jingle together in his trousers pocket. Hey, you there, Bob Cratchit. Come here. What are you doing there?
I'm only putting a bit more coal in the fire, Mr. Scrooge. Seeing it's so cold in there, sir.
You put that coal back into the scuttle. A fire. A fire, indeed. I can tell you, if you use coal at that rate, you and I will soon be parting company, Bob Cratchit. You understand that? There's many a young fella like your situation, you know.
I'm sorry, sir. My fingers were getting a little stiff with the cold.
Well, then put on your mittens. There's someone at the door. Go on, see who it is.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
This is the firm of Scrooge and Marley.
Yes, sir.
I should like to see the head of the firm, if I may.
Oh, very good, sir.
What is it?
A gentleman to see you, Mr. Scrooge.
Huh?
Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Marley's been dead these 7 years tonight. I'm Scrooge.
Well, now, Mr. Scrooge, at this season of the year, it's only fitting that we who are more fortunate should raise a fund to buy the poor some meat and drink and means of want. You may not believe it, sir, but many thousands are now in want of common necessities, and hundreds of thousands are in want of the simplest comforts.
Are there no prisons?
Well, there are plenty of prisons, sir.
And the workhouses? They're still in operation, I trust?
I wish I could say they are not, but they are, sir.
The treadmill and the poor law are in full vigor, then?
Both very busy, sir.
I'm glad to hear that. I was afraid from what you said at first that something had occurred to stop them in their useful course.
No, sir, all these institutions that you mention are flourishing. But it's nevertheless true that some additional provision for the poor and the destitute must be made. A few of us upon change are endeavoring to raise such a fund, you see. And what shall I put you down for?
Nothing.
Oh, I see. You wish to be anonymous, sir.
I wish to be let alone. I don't make merry myself at Christmas time, and I can't afford to help make a lot of idle people merry. I help to support the establishments that take care of the poor. They cost enough. Let those who are badly off go there.
Many can't go there, sir. And many would rather die.
Then my advice to them is to do so and decrease the surplus population. Besides, I've only your word for it that all this is so.
It's the truth, Mr. Scrooge.
Well, so be it, then. It's not my business. It's enough for a man to understand his own business and not to interfere with other people's. Mine occupies me constantly. Good afternoon, sir.
I quite understand, Mr. Scrooge. Good
Cratchit.
afternoon.
Show this gentleman out.
Yes, sir. This way, sir, please. Sir, I couldn't help overhearing. I should like to contribute tuppence.
Cratchit!
Yes, sir. It isn't much, but it's all I can afford. But there are others in worse situation than I.
You're a generous fellow. I wish I might say so of your employer.
Cratchit!
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Cratchit!
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yes, sir.
Close the door.
Yes, sir. 24, 31. 1 and carry 3. New scarlet tippet for Tiny Tim. A comb for Martha. 33, 3 and carry 3. A hair ribbon for Belinda. 4, 7, 12, 15.
Cratchit!
Yes, sir.
It's too late to have you go to Fothergill's. He'll be closed up for Christmas like these other fools. We may as well close up the place now.
Yes, sir. It is getting a little dark. Hard to see the figures.
I suppose you'll want the entire day tomorrow.
If it's quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient. And it's not fair, either. But I suppose I can't do anything about it. If I was to stop half a crown of your wages, you'd think yourself very ill-used, I'll be bound.
Well, sir,
Yeah, but you don't think me ill-used when I pay a day's wages for no work.
It's only once a year, sir.
Once a year. Once a year, indeed. A fine excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. But I suppose there's no good talking. You must have the whole day. Well, see that you're here all the earlier the next morning. You understand?
Oh, I will, sir. I will indeed. Good night, sir, and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
The office was closed in a twinkling, and Bob Cratchit, with the long ends of his white comforter dangling below his waist, for he boasted no greatcoat, went down a slide on Cornhill 20 times in honor of its being Christmas Eve, and then ran home to Camden Town as hard as he could pelt to play with his family at Blind Man's Buff. Scrooge, on the other hand, took his melancholy dinner in his usual melancholy tavern, and having read all the newspapers and spent the rest of the evening with his banker's book, went to his dismal house. Darkness is cheap, and Scrooge liked it. The yard was so dark that even Scrooge, who knew its every stone, had to grope with his hands through the fog and the frost to find the door. Scrooge walked through his rooms to see that all was right. Sitting room, bedroom, lumber room, all as they should be. Nobody under the table, nobody on the sofa, nobody under the bed, nobody in the closet. Closed the door. He locked himself in. He double-locked himself in. And took off his cravat, put on his dressing gown and slippers and his nightcap, and sat down before the fire to take his gruel.
Marley! I could have sworn I saw... humbug. Marley's been dead these 7 years. Humbug. All humbug. What I need is a good night... What's that? Someone's in the plane cell. But the door's locked and double locked. Something's... It's coming. Something is... It's coming closer. Outside my door. Stop. I won't believe it. It's humbug still.
Ebenezer Scrooge. Ebenezer Scrooge.
Marley. Oh, no. What do you want with me?
I want much of you, Ebenezer.
Who are you?
Ask me who I was.
You're very particular for a ghost. All right, then. Who were you?
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley.
Jacob Marley. But you're dead. You died 7 years ago.
7 years ago this very night.
You are a
What's wrong, Ebenezer? Don't you believe in me?
I do not.
You doubt your senses, Ebenezer?
Yes. Because a little thing affects them. Slight disorder of the stomach makes them cheats. You can't be a ghost. You may be an undigested bit of beef, or a blot of mustard, or a crumb of cheese, a fragment of an underdone potato. Yeah, there may be more gravy than grave about you, whatever you are. Ah, humbug, I tell you. Humbug. Excuse me. I do believe in you. You are a ghost, Jacob.
Thank you.
Well, why do you walk the earth, Jacob? Why do you come to me?
It is required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad among his fellow men and travel far and wide to witness what it cannot share, but might have shared on earth and turned to happiness.
Well, tell me, Jacob, what is that chain you wear around you?
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard by my own free will. Is its pattern strange to you, Ebenezer?
Cash boxes, keys, and padlocks, ledgers, and purses.
Yours was as heavy and as long as this 7 years ago. You have labored on it since, Ebenezer.
Oh, Jacob, speak comfort to me, Jacob.
Comfort I have none to give. I cannot rest. I cannot stay. I cannot linger. Weary journeys lie before me.
You travel fast?
Yes, Ebenezer, on the wings of the wind.
7 years dead and traveling all the time?
7 years, Ebenezer. 7 years of remorse. Ebenezer, do you know that no space of regret can make amends for one life's opportunities misused?
But you were always a good man of business, Jacob?
Business? Mankind was my business. Charity, mercy, benevolence, they were all my business. The dealings of my trade were but a drop of water in the comprehensive ocean of my business.
Oh, Jacob, don't take on so now. Jacob.
Listen to me, Ebenezer.
I listen to you, Jacob. Go on, Jacob, now. Speak to me, but don't be so flowery.
Ebenezer, I am here to warn you that you have yet a chance and hope of escaping my fate. Do you hear that, Ebenezer?
Yes, Jacob. Yes, you always were a good friend to me, Jacob. Thanks, Jacob. But go on. How shall I escape? Oh, I'm afraid, Jacob.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
Is that the only chance and hope, Jacob?
It is your only chance and hope.
Well, then I think I'd rather not.
Without their visits, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. Expect the first tomorrow. When the bell tolls 1.
Couldn't I take them all at once and have it over, Jacob?
Ebenezer, look that for your own sake you remember what has passed between us. And remember, when the bell tolls 1, look for the first spirit.
Molly. Jacob, Molly.
Scrooge awoke. He was lying on his bed fully dressed. Suddenly the curtains of his bed were drawn aside, and Scrooge found himself face to face with the unearthly visitor who drew them as close to it as I am now to you. And I am standing in the spirit at your elbow. It was a strange figure, like a child, yet not so like a child as like an old man. Its hair, which hung about its neck and down its back, was white as if with age. And yet the face had not a wrinkle in it, and the tenderest bloom was on the skin. The arms were long and muscular, the hands the same, as if its hold were of uncommon strength.
Ebenezer Scrooge. Who's that?
Ebenezer Scrooge, I have come for you.
Oh, Are you the spirit, sir, whose coming was foretold me?
I am that spirit.
What are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
No, your past.
But what do you want of me? What brings you here to haunt me?
Your welfare, Ebenezer Scrooge. Rise and walk with me.
Oh, no, not out of the window. I can't do that. I'll fall down. I'm not a spirit. I'm mortal, and I'll fall.
Bear but a touch of my hand upon your heart, and you shall be upheld in more than this. Come, follow me.
Where are we? What's become of the city? There's snow upon the ground. Where are we?
These are the shadows of the things that have been. You recognize this countryside?
Oh, I know every inch of it. Every rock, every tree.
And that bleak building over there?
That building. I was a boy there. Yes, I went to school in that horrible place.
Do you recollect that path?
I could walk it blindfold.
Strange you should forget it so many years. Come, let us go closer. Look through the window into that cold, barren room. What do you see, Ebenezer Scrooge?
I see a boy.
A solitary child, neglected by his family, alone.
Yes, I see. I know that boy. Oh, I was so lonely. Poor boy.
Your lip is trembling, Scrooge. And what is that on your cheek?
It's nothing. Nothing at all. I wish I... it's too late now.
What's the matter?
Nothing. The waits came to my door singing Christmas carols last night, and there was a boy like that among them. A poor, pale, thin little boy in a ragged coat. I should like to have given him something, that's all.
Is that all? Come, Ebenezer Scrooge. Let us see another Christmas. Do you know this place, Ebenezer Scrooge?
Know it? Know it? Why, this is the counting house where I was apprentice.
Listen.
It's my old master, bless his heart. Old Fezziwig. My master, alive again, and hosted one of his Christmas parties. Listen to him.
Thread the needle and back to your places.
And there's Dick Wilkins. Poor Dick. Dear. Yes, and look, there's Mrs. Fezziwig herself, looking younger than any of them. And the tables all loaded with roast and cider, and mince pie, and beer. Oh, what a jolly time we used to have.
That carefree young man with a light heart and a gay smile. Do you recognize him?
Yes. Merciful heaven. How happy I was then.
A small matter for old Fezziwig to make those silly folk so full of joy.
Small matter? Small indeed.
Isn't it? He has spent only a few pounds of your mortal money. Is that so much that he deserves praise?
It's not that, Spirit. Old Fezziwig has the power to make us happy or unhappy, to make our service light or heavy. His power lies in words and looks and in things so tiny that it's impossible to count them up. The happiness he gives is quite as great as if it cost
What is the matter?
Oh, nothing at all, Spirit.
Something, I think.
No.
Speak.
Well, only it's just that I should like to be able to say a word or two to my clerk, Bob Cratchit. That's all.
Advance and retire! Bow and curtsy! Thread the needle!
My time grows short, and we have yet another journey to make.
Where now?
Come. This This is our last visit to the past, Ebenezer. Here, in this little room, with a fair young girl by your side. Do you recognize yourself, Ebenezer?
No. Spare me this.
You're older now, a man in the prime of life. Your face has begun to wear the signs of care and avarice. Your eyes are greedy, the eager, restless eyes of a miser.
No, please.
She knows it, too. That girl by your side. There are tears in her eyes.
That is little, Ebenezer, to you. Very little. I know that.
Belle, have I changed toward you?
When we were engaged, we were both poor.
Was it better then? Better to be poor?
Better at least to be happy. You're changed. You were another man then.
I was a boy. Do you blame me because I've grown wiser? Have I ever tried to break our engagement?
In words, no. Never.
In what, then?
In a changed nature. In an altered spirit. In everything that made my love of any value in your sight. So I release you from your promise.
Belle!
Oh, at first it may cause you pain to lose me. A very brief pain. But soon it will be dim. Like a half-remembered dream. An unprofitable dream. And you will be glad to be awake from such a dream. May you be happy in the life you have chosen, Ebenezer. For the love of him you once served.
It's enough. Show me no more. Take me home.
These were shadows of the things that have been. That they are what they are. Do not blame me.
No more.
One shadow more. Come. Do you see this man, Ebenezer Scrooge? This man might have been you. And the woman beside him, your wife. And that girl might have been your daughter, Ebenezer Scrooge. She might have called you father. She might have been a springtime in the haggard winter of your life.
Spirit, let me go. Show me no more.
Listen now while they speak, Ebenezer.
Belle, I saw an old friend of yours today.
Who was it?
Yes.
How can I? Oh, I know. Mr. Scrooge.
Mr. Scrooge it was. I passed his office window. It wasn't shuttered. And there was a candle inside, so I couldn't help seeing him. His partner, Marley, lies at the point of death, I hear. And there Scrooge sat, all alone. Quite alone in the world, I do believe.
Spirit, I can't bear any more. Leave me. Haunt me no more. Take me back. Take me back.
On the feast of Stephen, when the snow lay round about, deep and crisp and even, brightly shone.
You are listening to the Campbell Playhouse, bringing you tonight the 5th annual presentation of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, produced by Orson Welles and starring Lionel Barrymore as Scrooge. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
This is the WBBM Air Theater, Wrigley Building, Chicago.
When we bear them thither, sage and monarch, forth they went together, through the rude winds while lament, and the bitter weather.
And now, back to the Campbell Playhouse and our 5th annual presentation of A Christmas Carol. A Christmas present from the makers of Campbell's Soups.
On the stroke of 1, Scrooge awakened suddenly and sat him bolt upright in his own bed. You remember the words of Marley's ghost and wondered from which direction the second specter would appear. At that moment, nothing between a baby and a rhinoceros would have astonished him very much. Now, being prepared for almost anything, he was not by any means prepared for nothing. And consequently, when no shape appeared, he was taken with a violent fit of trembling. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a quarter of an hour went by, yet nothing came. Then, as he sat in his bed, he became aware gradually of a great blaze of ruddy light that seemed to shine upon him from the adjoining room. He got up softly and shuffled in his slippers to the door. It was his own sitting room. No doubt about that. But it had undergone a surprising transformation. The walls and ceiling were so hung with living green that it looked a perfect grove. From every part of which bright, gleaming berries glistened, and such a mighty blaze went roaring up the chimney as had never been known in Scrooge's time, or for many and many a winter season gone. Heaped up on the floor to form a kind of throne were turkeys, geese, game, poultries, great joints of meat, sucking pigs, long wreaths of sausages, mince pies, plum puddings, barrels of oysters, red-hot chestnuts, and seething bowls of punch that made the chamber dim with their delicious steam. In easy state upon this couch, there sat a jolly giant, glorious to see, who bore a glowing torch in shape not unlike Plenty's horn, and held it up, high up to shed its light on Scrooge as he came peeping round the door.
Come in, Ebenezer Scrooge, and know me better, man.
Sure.
I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me. You've never seen the like of me before.
Sure. You're different from the other spirits. You're tall, almost a giant. That great torch you carry.
Its light falls into the homes of rich and poor alike.
Spirit, take me where you will. Last time I went against my will and learned a lesson which is working now. If you have anything to teach me, let me profit by it.
Touch my robe, Ebenezer Scrooge. Touch my robe. An humble dwelling, in an humble street.
It's miserable enough.
Yet there is happiness there.
Who are these people? Who's that woman and the children?
These are the family of your clerk, Bob Cratchit. He is wife, dressed in a twice-turned gown, but brave in ribbon, laying the table for their Christmas dinner. And there, assisting her, is their daughter Belinda, and the young man with a fork in the stuffing. That's Master Peter Cratchit, and the two little Cratchits. Listen, Scrooge.
Here's Martha, Mother.
Bless your heart alive, Martha, my dear. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, Mother. Merry Christmas.
How late you are, my dear.
Oh, we'd a deal of work to finish up last night, and we had to clear away this morning.
Well, never mind so long as you're here now. Sit you down before the fire and have a warm. Lord bless you.
Where's Father?
He's been to church with Tiny Tim. They'll be along directly.
How is Tiny Tim, Mother? Any better at all?
Sometimes I think he is. And sometimes I think, oh, dear God, if anything should happen to Tiny Tim.
Mother, you mustn't even think of such a thing.
Here they are! Tiny Tim.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Martha, welcome, my dear.
Merry Christmas, Father. And Tim.
Come here,
Merry
Tim.
Christmas, Mother. Oh, Tim, you darling. Oh, Father, I'm so glad to be home.
And we're so glad to have you, Martha.
And how did little Tim behave in church, Bob?
Oh, as good as gold and better.
Oh, I like church, Mother. Oh, they sang the nicest songs. I hope people saw me there.
Saw you there. And why, Tim?
Well, don't you see? Because I'm lame. And if they saw my crutch, it might be pleasant for them to remember on Christmas who it was made lame beggars walk and blind men see.
Oh, bless you, my son.
Are we ready to eat, Mother? Come on, let's eat.
Yes, children, we're all ready. Here we go. Come, take your places now. And I'll wait your turn. There's plenty of stuffing and dressing and plum pudding for all of you. Martha, you take care of Tiny Tim and see that he eats plenty. He must get strong and well. Now, sit down, everyone.
And now, my dears, shall we say grace?
Spirit,
Our Father who art in
tell me if Tiny Tim will live.
I see a vacant seat in the poor chimney corner, and a crutch without an owner carefully preserved.
Oh, no, kind spirit. Say he'll be spared. Say he'll live.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future Ebenezer, the child will die.
And now, my dears, with such a dinner, a toast. A Merry Christmas to us all, and God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
And now to Mr. Scrooge. I'll give you a toast to Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast.
The founder of the feast, indeed, who pays you all of 15 shillings a week. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast on, and I hope he'd have a good appetite for it.
Oh, my dear, the children, Christmas Day.
It should be Christmas Day, I'm sure, on which one drinks the health of such an odious, stingy, unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge. You know he is, Bob. Nobody knows it better than you, poor fellow.
My dear, Christmas Day.
I'll drink his health for your sake and the day's, not for his. Long life to him. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. He'll be very merry and very happy, I have no doubt.
And I say God bless him too, Mother, and everyone.
God bless you, Tim.
There was nothing of high mark in all this. They were not a handsome family, these Cratchits. They were not well-dressed. Their shoes were far from being waterproof. Their clothes were scanty and had known, very likely, the insides of a pawnbroker's. But they were happy, grateful, pleased with one another, and contented with the time. And when at last they faded, Scrooge had his eye upon them, and especially on Tiny Tim until the last. Then he called, Scrooge made that night with a ghost of Christmas present. Down among the miners they went who labor in the bowels of the earth, and out to sea among the sailors at their watch, dark, ghostly figures in their several stations. Much they saw, and far they went, and many places they visited, but always with a happy end. The spirits stood beside sick beds, and they were cheerful. On foreign lands, and they were close at home. By poverty, and it was rich. In almshouse, hospital, and jail, where vain man in his little brief authority had not made fast the door and barred the spirit out, the spirit left his blessing. It was a long night, if it was only a night. And it was strange, too, that while Scrooge remained unaltered in his outward form, the ghost grew older. Clearly older.
My life upon this globe is very brief, Ebenezer. It ends tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight at midnight. Hark. The hour has come.
Oh, no, not yet. Not yet. There are still more things I wish to learn.
These you will learn from still another spirit. Still another spirit, Ebenezer.
Scrooge looked about him for the ghost that had vanished, and he found himself once more in his bed in his dressing gown and his nightcap on his head. He'd heard the clock strike, and then he remembered the prediction of old Jacob Marley. And lifting up his eyes, beheld the third spirit. A solemn phantom, shrouded in black, draped and hooded, coming towards him slowly and silently like a mist along the ground.
I know you. You are the ghost of Christmas yet to come. You will show me the shadows of things that have not happened, but will happen in the time before us. Answer me, spirit. Ghost of the future, I fear you more than any specter I've seen. Yet I know your purpose is to do me good, and as I hope to live to be another man from what I was, lead on. Lead on. Night's waning fast. Time's precious. Spirit, why have you brought me here again? Here to Bob Cratchit's home? But it's not the same. Why is it so quiet? So very quiet here.
Mother. Mother, please. Oh, my son. My little son. Tiny Tim. I loved him so.
Oh, Mother dear, you mustn't. It's almost time for Father to be home. Don't let him see you crying.
Yes. Yes, Mother. He's late tonight. He walks slower than he used to. And yet I've known him to walk very fast indeed with Tiny Tim on his shoulders.
So have I, Mother.
But he was light to carry. And his father loved him so that it was no trouble. No trouble at all. Bob.
Good evening, my dear.
You're late, Bob.
Yes, I'm sorry, my dear. I went to the churchyard today. I wish you could have gone with me. It
Well, it's done your heart good to see how sweet and green a place it is. But you'll see it often, I promised him. Yes, I promised Tiny Tim we'd walk there on a Sunday.
Father, dear.
It's God's will, Bob. I'm trying to understand it, my dear. My son, my little son, Tiny Tim. And I loved him so.
Oh, that's cruel. Cruel. Spirit, can't you give me one ray of hope that I may change all that Tiny Tim may live? Where are you taking me now? Here, on a common street, Spirit? What is there for me to learn here? Who are those men?
I don't know much about it. Either way, I only know he's dead.
When did he die?
Last night, I believe.
It's likely to be a very cheap funeral for Palm life. I don't know anybody to go to it. Suppose we make up a party and volunteer.
I don't mind going if a lunch is provided.
Come to think of it, I'll wager I was his best friend.
What?
We used to nod to each other when we met in the street.
Spirit, tell me, who is this man that died? Is there no one to mourn the poor creature? No one to follow him to the grave? Perhaps they'll give him a green grave at least, like poor Tiny Tim. Perhaps... Spirit, where are we now? Merciful heaven, a churchyard. Overrun by grass and weeds, choked with too much burying, desolate, lonely, crumbling graves. Spirit, before I draw nearer to that gravestone, answer me one question. Are these shadows of things that will be, or are they shadows of things that may be only? Huh? Will you not speak to me, Spirit? What is that grave to which you point? There's writing on that stone. The name on the gravestone is Ebenezer Scrooge. Oh, no, Spirit, no, hear me. I'm not the man I was. Why show me this if I'm past all hope? Tell me that I can change these dreadful shadows you've shown me by an altered life. I'll honor Christmas in my heart, and I'll try to keep it all the year. I'll live in the past, the present, and the future, and I'll not shut out the lessons that they teach. Tell me, Spirit, go on, tell me that I can sponge away the writing on that stone, Spirit. I beg you, Spirit. I beg you. I promise on my knees. I promise I'll... It's my own black boy. Oh, I'm home. In my own bed. In my own room. And the sun. The sun's shining. It's clear. It's bright. No fog. What a beautiful day. Oh, glorious. The boy. Oh, boy.
Yes, sir?
What's today?
What's that, sir?
Well, what day is it, my fine fella?
Today? Why, it's Christmas Day.
Ha-ha! Christmas Day! Then I haven't missed it. Spirits have done it all in one night. All in one night. Heaven be praised.
How's that, sir?
Listen, my lad. You know where the poultery is in the next street?
I should say I do.
Intelligent boy. A remarkable boy. Tell me, do you know if they sold the prize turkey that was hanging in the window?
The one as big as me?
What a delightful boy. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Yes, my buck?
It's hanging there now, sir.
That's wonderful. Go around, will you? And tell him to send it to Bob Cratchit and his family on Broad Street. And mind you, they're not to know who paid for it. Go along. Hurry, my lad. Here, wait a minute. Here's ½ a crown for your trouble.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, and a Merry Christmas, sir.
And a Merry Christmas to you, my boy. Oh, I don't know what to do. I'm as light as a feather, as happy as an angel. I'm as merry as a schoolboy. Merry Christmas! A Merry Christmas to everybody. A Happy New Year to all the world. My dear sir, how do you do?
I beg your pardon?
Oh, you, sir. Aren't you the gentleman who came to my office in regard to that charity?
Why, yes, sir.
A Merry Christmas to you.
Yes, sir.
Allow me to ask your pardon, sir. And will you have the goodness to accept? I prefer to whisper this.
But, Lord bless me. My dear Mr. Scrooge, are you serious?
If you please, now not a farthing less. A great many back payments are included in it, I assure you. Will you do me that favor?
Oh, my dear sir, I don't know what to say to such munificence.
No, don't say anything, please. Come and see me. Will you come and see me?
I will indeed.
Thank you. I'm much obliged to you. I thank you 50 times. Bless you. Merry Christmas.
Next morning, Scrooge was early at his office. He went early for a reason. If he could only be there first and catch Bob Cratchit coming late. That was the thing he'd set his heart upon. And he did it. Yes, he did. The clock struck 9. No Bob. 1:15, no Bob. Scrooge sat with his door wide open that he might see him come in. At last he came. His hat was off before he opened the door. His comforter, too. He's on his stool in a jiffy, driving away with his pen as if he were trying to overtake 9 o'clock.
15 at 21, 6 and carry the 1 and 24 and carry the 2, 31 and 8 and 9.
Hello, you, Cratchit.
Yes, sir.
Step this way, Cratchit, if you please. Cratchit, what do you mean by coming in at this time of day?
Well, I'm very sorry, sir. I am behind my time.
You are. Yes, I think you are.
Oh, it's only once a year, Mr. Scrooge. It shall not be repeated. I was making rather merry yesterday, sir.
I'll tell you what, my friend. I'll not stand this sort of thing any longer. And therefore, Bob Cratchit, I'm about to raise your salary.
Mr. Scrooge, are you quite yourself, sir?
No, thank heaven, I'm not quite myself. Merry Christmas, Bob. Merry Christmas, my good fellow. A merrier Christmas than I've given you in many a year. I shall raise your salary, and we'll see what we can do for Tiny Tim and the rest of your family. Huh? We'll discuss it this very afternoon over a Christmas bowl of smoking bishop. Bob, make up a fire. Make it up, and buy another coal scuttle before you dot another I, Bob Cratchit.
Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all, and infinitely more. To Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good old city knew, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. Some people laughed to see the alteration in him, but he let them laugh, and little heeded them. His own heart laughed. That was quite enough for him. He had no further intercourse with spirits, but lived upon the total abstinence principle ever afterwards, and it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well if any man alive possessed the knowledge. May that be truly said of us, of all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed, God bless us, everyone.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare his room. And heaven and nature ring.
just heard our annual presentation of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, starring Lionel Barrymore, brought to you by the makers of Campbell's Soups. And now here is Orson Welles.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this point in the program, it's my custom, as you know, to present you with a few words of introduction, our guest of the evening. With your consent, I shall dispense with this tonight. To introduce tonight's guest to the Campbell Playhouse audience, or to any American audience, is an extravagant and superfluous procedure. For if ever an actor has won for himself a lasting place in the hearts of his fellow countrymen through years of unsparing and inspiring service, that actor is Lionel Barrymore. Mr. Lionel Barrymore.
Oh, thank you, Orson Welles. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, this is the 4th year I've had the pleasure of appearing in the Christmas Carol here on the Campbell Playhouse, and I assure you all it's a pleasure that never tires. As long as I can remember, this has been one of my favorite stories. When we were children, it was read to us regularly at this time of year, as it is to many millions of children right now. And like many of them, I'm sure, the three of us, Ethel, Jack, and I, with the aid of a sheet and some old ironware, made a play of it. As I remember, we had 3 Scrooges in that production.
Who played Tiny Tim?
I think we had 3 Tiny Tims, too. But seriously, I can think of no part that I've enjoyed playing again and again as much as I have the part of that squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner, Ebenezer Scrooge. And I can think of no happier or more suitable choice for the makers of Campbell's Soups to offer the people of America as their Christmas present each year than Charles Dickens' well-beloved story, A Christmas Carol. Good night, Orson. Good night, everybody. And a Merry, Merry Christmas to you all.
Good night to you, Mr. Barrymore. Thank you, sir, and a Merry Christmas to you. Ladies and gentlemen, next Sunday night, we're happy to announce our version of a great and truly American story by a great American novelist, Come and Get It, by Edna Ferber. Against a background of the mighty forests of Miss Ferber's own Wisconsin, it tells a stirring tale of the men and women who live and die in the woods in order that lumber may come down the rivers every spring into the cities of the modern world. Like so many of Miss Ferber's epic romances of American life, it was made from a best-selling novel into a highly successful motion picture. Now we bring it to you on the air. The story of a man and his son and the girl they both loved, Lotta. Lotta, played for us by one of the loveliest and most accomplished of Hollywood's younger dramatic actresses, Miss Frances D. And so until next week, until Come and Get It, my sponsors, the makers of Campbell Soups, and all of us in the Campbell Playhouse remain, as always, obediently yours. But just one moment. Please, Benny, excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the night before Christmas. And all through the Campbell Playhouse, not a creature is stirring that doesn't join Lionel Barrymore in wishing you a Merry, Merry Christmas. This goes for all of us, from my sponsor, for myself, or for all of us, from Don McBain, who runs the machinery in the control room, to Miss Helgren, who types the Campbell Playhouse scripts. A Merry Christmas. From Benny Herman and his band of merry melodians, Merry Christmas. From Max Tears, canary-throated chorister, a very Merry Christmas. And from Harry Essman and Cliff Thornton and his crew of sound effect technicians, a Merry Christmas. And from Orson Welles and his considerable aggregation of dramatic talent, who include, among others, Mr. Everett Sloane, Mr. Frank Reddick, Mr. Erskine Sanford, Mr. George Coulouris, Mr. Ray Collins, Miss Georgia Backus, Miss B. Benaderet, and many, many others, a Merry Christmas. How about it, everybody? A Merry Christmas! That's right. And now, as Tiny Tim says,
God bless us, everyone.
The makers of Campbell Soups join Orson Welles in inviting you to be with us in the Campbell Playhouse again next Sunday evening when we bring you Edna Ferber's Come and Get It with Miss Frances D. as our guest. Meanwhile, if you have enjoyed our 5th annual presentation of A Christmas Carol, won't you tell your grocer so this week when you order Campbell Soups? This is Ernest Chappell saying thank you and a very Merry Christmas to you all.
Columbia Broadcasting System.
This is WBBM Chicago.
You just heard the 1939 Campbell Playhouse production of A Christmas Carol starring Lionel Barrymore. I hope these great old-time radio shows from 80 years ago have helped you get the feel of the Christmas tradition. It certainly worked for me. Now that we are all lit up with the Christmas spirit, let's have Bing Crosby sing us out. I'm Mike Gillette, your host, and this has been When Radio Ruled Christmas Special 2020. When Radio Ruled is a Before TV production. Copyright 2020. This is the 9th consecutive Christmas Bing has sung Adeste Fidelis here in the Old Kraft Music Hall. As usual, he'll sing it first in Latin, then with everybody joining him in English.
Surely this year, more people than ever before will want to raise their voices in a chorus of Come All Ye Faithful.
Bing, I think it'd be nice if folks at home would join in too, and folks all over the world.
We're certainly counting on them, Ken. The home folks, wherever they may be, to help us sing this eternal hymn. Adeste fidelis, leti triumphantes, venite, venite in Bethlehem. Natum videte, regem angelorum, venite adoremus, venite adoremus, venite adoremus, Now everybody here in the hall, John Scott, Eugenia Baird, the Charioteers, Charles Henderson in the chorus, as well as all you men wherever you are and everybody at home all together in your family's favorite key, once through in English. Oh, come all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Thank you very much. I think you folks listening at home, you ought to know where we got our wonderful support in the soprano and the contralto departments this evening. We're proud to welcome to the hall more than 100 young ladies from Uncle Sam's Navy. They're on their way to a preview at Paramount Studio where they will witness a flicker dedicated to their own branch of the service, a little item called Here Come the Waves. I know they'll be captivated by the caperings in this picture of my very good friends Betty Hutton and Sonny Tufts, even if they must suffer through the faintly antique antics of one of the older crooners. Just to kind of limber them up gently for this harrowing experience, we've asked them to visit us first. And here they are. They're looking mighty sharp in their navy blue and white. I'm glad it is we are to see them. With those happy harmonists, the Charioteers, assisting, we'd like to salute our waves here tonight with that merriest of traditional melodies, Jingle Bells. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. What fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. What fun to ride and sing in a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells and bobtails ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing and scratching all the way. Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. Oh, what fun to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, we have a lot of fun. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
That band is really gone, isn't it, Bing?
Let's put them back in the wagon. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, we have a lot of fun. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Yes, got to associate that melody with everything Christmassy.
Wow. Aren't those stars bright tonight?
They sure are. Hey, look at that big one right overhead. I don't remember seeing that one before.
Gosh, that is a nice one. I don't remember seeing it either.
You don't? You've never noticed that star before?
No.
Why, that's been there for ages. People saw it for the first time almost 2,000 years ago.
Well, it's Christmas, and I'll bet a lot of you thought today would never roll around. Christmas always seems to take a long time coming, but it sure is worth waiting for, isn't it, Dale?
I'll say it is, Roy. And I just hope all of our friends are having as fine a day as we are. I can see that Pat agrees.
I sure do, Dale. And speaking for all the gang here at the ranch, we hope Christmas brought you folks everything you wished for.
Yes, and we hope that Santa left your stockings just bulging with good things. But the best wish we have for you is for the true spirit of Christmas to stay with you all through the year. You know, the spirit of giving is a good thing to have with you all the time, and peace on earth, goodwill toward men, is well worth keeping in mind every single day of the year. I know you all agree with me on that. And now our sponsor, Post Cereals, who bring you Great Nuts Flakes, Sugar Crisp, and so many other good cereals, join Dale, Pat, and all of us here at the ranch in sending you best wishes for the holiday season. Yes, from our Post family to your family, Merry, Merry Christmas and the happiest New Year ever. And for now, goodbye, good luck, and may the good Lord take a liking to you. See you next week.